Jermaine, you are 100% certain that you've got evidence to prove that this man, being Gayton McKenzie, gave you 2 cell phones, you have WhatsApp messages, you have bank statements to prove, because, I mean, when I interviewed it... Yeah, carry on.
Yes, we do have backup with the messages, Facebook messages, WhatsApp messages, bank statements, emails, that kind of thing.
20th of March 2026, a handwritten letter from a maximum security prison cell hits the floor of the South African Parliament. It wasn't just a plea for help, it was a tactical bomb. Inmate Jermaine Prim alleges that a sitting cabinet minister is not just linked to a crime, but that the minister himself is the proxy for a massive drug cartel. Today we are going to exhaust every detail of this investigation. We are going to show you how Prim and Gayton McKenzie allegedly met, how 2 secret cell phones were used to run a political campaign from a cell, and we will play back the alleged contents of the recordings involving Kaldine and Stevens. By the end of this video, you will see the full map of the Farouk Nathaniel matter and the role of Usmuziket Matala. The road is long. South Africa today, we reach the end of it.
We've been told through the ad hoc committee and the Madlanga Commission that there is this big 5 that's basically running the country, and not all the names have been divulged. Would you say, according to the evidence that you have and what's been going on over the last couple of years, even with your particular case, who would you say is involved in this big 5 cartel or proxies of this big 5?
Look, I can tell you that Gayton is definitely a proxy of the big 5, right? And I can't reveal all the names of the big 5, although I am aware of who they are. As I said, it forms part of a police investigation, right? And then I can't just call out all their names, but yes, Gayton is a part of it.
Before we can take a deep dive into this ENCA interview, it's very important for you guys to understand that. So this interview happened while Mr. Jermaine is still in prison, and he's using a prison cell phone. So yes, I think he was given a permission to have this interview with ENCA, and it's not like he's outside, he's still inside prison, was using the prison cell phone. Let us first start with the first allegations that Mr. Prim made. So Jermaine Prim makes a claim that almost hard to believe. He alleges that he was acting as a proxy for a drug cartel to assist Gayton McKenzie in winning by-elections in Eldorado Park. According to Prim, McKenzie, now the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, personally provided him with 2 cell phones while he was in Sun City. The purpose was to coordinate groundwork, mobilize voters, and invest in the Patriotic Alliance, and invest in the Patriotic Alliance's presence in the community. Prim alleges that he was the one ensuring that the Green Wave had the street-level muscle it needed.
I want to start off with some clarity from your side, Jermaine, in terms of letters that were written. It seems as though there's a little bit of confusion with regards to one particular letter. Could you just indicate to me, there's one affidavit that you submitted to the ad hoc committee and a second letter that you had sent to a member of parliament?
So there's affidavits, as you said, that I submitted to the ad hoc committee, and a second letter that I sent to a member of parliament, right? And then there's a third fake letter that's been circulating on social media, I'm told, right? Which is a complete fake letter.
Okay, so you take no acknowledgement of the third letter. It's only the 2 letters, the affidavit that was submitted to the ad hoc committee and a second letter to member of parliament.
Yes.
Okay.
What I've done with the second letter that was submitted to the member of parliament, I've actually made a confirmatory affidavit.
Okay.
Confirming that I have indeed written and authored the letter.
Okay. I want us to move over to, maybe if you can just briefly explain to us your interaction and contact with Gayton McKenzie. When did that begin, and why was that central to your affidavit?
Okay, so I met Gayton through a mutual friend by the name of Mario Francis, also known as Big. I met him in around 2012, and then we started interacting again in 2020 with the death of Nathaniel Julius. Right? Gayton then asked me to assist him thereafter because we made a big noise with the death of Nathaniel Julius. It was something that was close to my heart because my kids live like a street away from me. Right?
Yeah.
He then asked me if I could please run a social media campaign and get people on the ground to help him win the lead in the by-election. Right? So I knew quite a lot of people there. Right? And then got in basically the campaign, and then I ran the social media campaign. I also invested quite a bit in the campaign. As a result, the PA then won the by-election. The very same people I recruited then went on to Eldorado Park, Ward 17 and Ward 18, and they then won those by-elections. Gayton then, he owed me quite a bit of money that I invested in the campaign, but then it just wasn't forthcoming, right? So this obviously led to a dispute between the two of us, and also a lot of Patriotic Alliance members, they tried to have like a unbound campaign in Eldorado Park, but it was actually the family members who were the shooters or the killers in Eldorado Park. So I then told them, I said, listen, instead of making a noise at the police station, go fetch your children and bring them to the police station so they can be arrested. Right? And that's where the major fallout began. And then there was a voice conversation between JUWARIYA, Kaldine, and Pastor Kurt van Heerden. 32-minute conversation. So Pastor Kurt then gave the recording to Justin Barnos, and Justin Barnos gave me the recording.
This all, sorry, Jermaine, I'm going to interject. This all while you are in prison.
Yes. Look, Gayton sent in like 2 phones for me at the time.
Yeah, sorry, Gayton McKenzie sent you 2 cell phones in prison. That's how you had access to cell phones, and you were able to, according to what you're saying, rally up support for the Patriotic Alliance from prison.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, before then, there was no Patriotic Alliance. It was registered in 2013, but it was basically dead. There was nothing happening, you know. What then happened was, with the recording, I decided, you know, I'd had enough of his lies and misleading people. And on the recording, JUWARIYA talks that he receives drug money from Chanel Stevens, who is the daughter of the late Jermaine Stevens, right? So I made this recording go viral. And then Gayton had told me, he said, well, I made it go viral in the community groups. So Gayton then came to me and said, listen, if you continue with this, I'll have you put in CMAX. So I said, okay, not a problem. Even if you put me on the moon, I'm still going to have the central. People need to know the truth. You know, so I sent the recording to my father, and Gayton then had them to put me in CMAX. As an awaiting trial, I was then held in 7 teammates in phase 1 in CMAX. I went to court and then gave the recording to Kaya Koko, who was at the time with the Mail and Guardian. So that's where most of the fights came from.
Okay. Obviously, McKenzie denied this. He says he found the cell phones and reported them, but Prim asked if he was a dangerous criminal. Why didn't you give me the tools to build your party?
Okay, could I just get clarity? This recording that's making the rounds, that includes JUWARIYA, she's saying that was manipulated and it's AI, but you can confirm that you had access to that recording and you leaked that recording. When did you leak that recording?
I leaked the recording in 2022. There was no AI back then, right?
Okay.
So
I want to.
Yeah. Recording.
You can confirm that, according to you, it's an authentic recording. How did you get access to that recording?
So Pastor Kurt gave it to his friend, or him and his friend recorded the conversation. And his friend was actually one of my close friends that I grew up with, as I did earlier. And they then gave it to me. And I decided that people need to know the truth.
I want us to...
While we're playing this part of the interview of the ENCA, I think you heard a name by Kaldine and Stevens and a recording regarding that. So to those who don't understand, Kaldine is the Patriotic Alliance Regional Treasurer, while Stevens is the Patriotic Alliance Secretary General and daughter of the late 27th gang boss Red Stevens. In a recording verified by Mail and Guardian, Kaldine is allegedly heard admitting that Stevens is giving Gayton drug money from the father's operation. She's more than just a counselor. As a treasurer, she allegedly oversaw the war chest. In the tapes, she complained that McKenzie needed over 1 million for the national elections and didn't have it, so they allegedly turned to the family business on the Stevens family. Prim insists here's the original, unedited audio of this conversation. McKenzie calls it AI deepfake, but the details in the recording suggest a deep-seated truth. Not long ago, Kaldine also responded to these allegations, saying that this recording is actually fake. It's not true.
Making damning allegations against PA President Gayton McKenzie. Now, during the interview, Van Heerden confirmed the existence of the recording by Kaldine and that he can prove it. Now, here to respond to these allegations, we're joined in studio by Ms. Kaldine herself. But before we get into that conversation, let's take you back to last night and listen to Kurt Van Heerden and the claims he made.
The recording is authentic. What was part of the conversation, I cannot attest to whether it is true or not, but the recording in and of itself is the truth. I cannot sit here and say that what was said in the recording is the truth. I can sit here and say that I was in that recording. I can sit here and say I was a part of the recording. I can say the authenticity of the recording is 100% correct. However, what I cannot attest to is whether or not what was shared to me within that recording is the truth.
All right. Here to respond to that is JUWARIYA Kaldine. Ms. Kaldine, good to have you here. Thank you very much for your time. So let's start with the recording. What is your standpoint? Is it true? Is it authentic?
Thank you so much, and thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. I thought I would have to come here and correct you because I do understand that Arabic is not your mother tongue.
Thank you.
I would say that the recording is not authentic. How is it that a pastor is now playing a role of SAPS or the court of law in South Africa? In terms of a Section 205, a report would have to come through and say that this recording is definitely authentic. I have never had the conversation with Mr. Van Heerden in the first place, so I cannot confirm. I don't know how they got ultimately a voice to sound like mine. I do know that Mr. Van Heerden is a very close friend to an inmate, Jermaine Prim, an inmate who threatened my life, threatened the lives of my children, and threatened my family while he was in prison.
Alleges that Patriotic Alliance founded inside Sun City Prison with a specific mission. And that mission was to be an ANC project. The goal was to capture the colored votes that the ANC has lost in the Western Cape to the DA. Prim claims that the Patriotic Alliance belongs to the ANC at its core, acting as a tactical ally to keep the ANC in its power through the coalition.
He was also worried. I know why the Patriotic Alliance was started. Right? He was scared that I was going to reveal why the party was started.
Why was the party started?
The Patriotic Alliance was actually started by the ANC. So the ANC was experiencing a problem, more specifically in the Western Cape, and hence the formation of the Patriotic Alliance to disturb the vote in the Western Cape, bring over the colored vote for the ANC.
Okay, when last did you speak to Gayton McKenzie?
Just before I went to CMAX.
And what did he say to you? Did you claiming he threatened you?
That's what he threatened you, that he's going to admit to being CMAX. And that's why I then sent the recordings and the evidence that I had to my father and to different family members, because I knew that he's going to do that.
Okay, I want to move.
And this made me remember this speech when Gayton McKenzie was calling the president to come take the stand and address the public. And the way Ramaphosa was laughing, the way he was saying you will never betray the GNU, you'll always be loyal. His loyalty always lied with the ANC, Gayton. The way he's so loyal to the ANC, you'll doubt that he even has his own political party. These are just things to ponder on. I'm not saying that Mr. Prim is right, just thoughts to ponder on.
Yeah. So I want to say to the SG, let them talk. It's really cold outside. Humonati inside. The GNU is working. We are happy. President Ramaphosa is leading us. And the president that I'm calling now, you know, President, I must tell you something that I never told you to your face. When we criticized you, we went past the boundaries of respectable criticism. We at times became very personal with you. We called you names, we accused you of stuff, but you looked past what we all called you, and you look at what is good for South Africa. You are a leader with leaders. And those ones that think I can betray you, you have hired me in spite of people saying you can never make McKenzie a minister. Today, you can call me bandit, but you must say honorable. Honorable. You can call me names. Markikeni. Can we all rise to our feet and welcome Cyril the Drew?
Obviously, after all of this, it was decided that he should be moved to CMAX. When Prim allegedly started threatening to expose his ties, McKenzie publicly took credit for moving him to CMAX. McKenzie said it was because Prim was threatening PA women.
Powers to move people to CMAX. What I've done, I've got no relationship with Jermaine Prim. He was threatening women in PA. He was threatening people publicly.
From prison.
From prison. He was phoning people. He was just a nuisance. And I then encouraged people, let's go open a case against him. And people went to go and open a case. And they moved him. They must keep him there.
Because of his threats to...
His threats. I can't, as a leader, when you threaten people, you're going to kill them, you phone them, you FaceTime them out of prison. And you say to women, and women come to me. You can't be a leader and be scared of gangsters.
So yeah, there's no relationship. He didn't help you garner support in Elders. That's
how can he help me from prison to garner support?
Well, if he's able to threaten people, surely he has access to support and people in prison.
I only know about, I've never in my life met Prim. Never.
You've never spoken to him?
I've spoken to him.
Okay. And
obviously, Prim rebutted. He said, if I threatened them, why there is no criminal case? Why didn't these victims open a docket? Prim alleges he was moved to CMAX, the most restricted prison in the country, to be silenced.
Focus on you being in CMAX. So let's just get this straight. You are incarcerated for over 8 years, if I'm not mistaken, on charges of fraud and car theft. And you were moved to CMAX for 4 years. You've just been taken out of CMAX now. Are you saying that the reason why you were moved to CMAX is because of Gayton McKenzie?
Yes, look, Gayton himself made a video where he said that it's because of him. He had been put in CMAX. He had a relationship with the regional or ex-regional commissioner, and that's how he then had been put in CMAX. So, you know, in CMAX you can only stay, sentence people can only stay there for a maximum of 18 months, according to the SOP. I was held in phase 1 for over 3 years for waiting trial.
Okay, because when I interviewed Gayton McKenzie last year, January 2025, I asked him about his alleged influence in moving you to CMAX, and he said that it's because you were threatening and harassing members of the, especially women of the Patriotic Alliance. What is your response to that?
So, this is very, very simple. If leader was threatening any woman from the Patriotic Alliance, there would have been cases opened. I promise you, they would have run off to the police station. But that did not happen. That's very, very false. It's untrue. And he's lying. He put me in CMAX to try and gag me, to silence me from speaking the truth.
Then I wanted us to move to another matter that I think is very interesting, which was the Matlala and Katiso Molefe matters, which Mr. Prim also alluded to. Then now when it comes to Matlala, he says that the man at the center of the 360 million subs tender, Prim alleges that McKenzie had influence, or both of them they had influence with each other, but also refused to speak about the allegations of Matlala in connections to the president or the 360 tender or anything in relations to that. He says that all of that is an investigation, and also made something that is really shocking, which is about Katiso Molefe. And Katiso Molefe, as the member of a cartel, is also the supplier of the Patriotic Alliance, or Gayton McKenzie. Let me play that clip, the part of that interview.
Move over to some parts of your affidavit. Your affidavit, you speak about some sort of drug cartel, and you allege that the Patriotic Alliance and members within the Patriotic Alliance, which include Gayton McKenzie, you allege that they are involved in drug cartels. Could you just tell me, why do you say that? What evidence do you have to prove that they are part of this drug cartel?
So, firstly, if you listen to the voice recording, JUWARIYA Kaldine herself confirmed that they used to use drug money from Chanel or from Reed Stevens when he was alive. He knew that I know somebody who also deals in drugs, the specific Mandrax tablets. So he wanted me to speak to my person to get a better price for weed. Right? He transports these drugs to Cape Town. I know we sell the drugs in Cape Town. I know the two gang leaders there that sell the specific drugs.
And who else in the Patriotic Alliance do you allege that is part of this drug cartel?
So, if you listen to, he made another video over the weekend, last weekend, and he confirmed that Debbie Reynolds was an ex-drug dealer, but he felt she needs a second chance. She's not an ex-drug dealer. He knows she's still using drugs because they work together.
So you've mentioned Katie Molefe, and previously Kendi Kunene was found at the premises of Katie Molefe. He alleges it was for an interview purpose. What do you make of that?
So I know that because of my conversation with Gayton, that Katie was their supplier. Right? He's the main supplier. And when it became apparent that Penny was at Katie's house when Katie was arrested, it was easy to join the dots.
Okay, I want us to move over to another element in your affidavit. You speak of a man named Farouk, and you are basically saying that his murder should be traced back to certain activities by Gayton McKenzie. What do you mean by that?
So, during the Nathaniel Julius saga, Farouk was also on the ground, and he was also making a lot of noise about the murder of Nathaniel Julius, right? You know, making personal guilt trips on each other. So, after that, I assumed it was sorted out, because Gayton spoke to me like several times, even during the fight. But then one day, Gayton gave me a call. So then I called Farouk and we spoke, and he told me that he's capitalized. I wasn't sure what was the reason, you know. And half an hour later, I then got a call and said, "Hey, did you hear what happened to Farouk?" I said, "No, what happened?" They said, "No, he was murdered. Him and Marcus." And they then sent me the picture. So I was very shocked. But I still couldn't put the dots together. I didn't believe that Gayton would do that. Right? But only afterwards it came to me that he asked me to find out where Farouk was.
Can you, Jermaine, can you prove that Gayton McKenzie owes you and your family money? Do you have evidence to support that?
Yes, I can. I've got email conversations or email correspondence between me and one of his girlfriends. I paid like Peter's t-shirts, all the suppliers I've dealt with. I've got all that evidence. I've even got conversations between me and Gayton.
Do you believe that your incarceration for 8 years on charges of car theft and fraud is being delayed or influenced in some way, and if so, by who?
Definitely. So, remember I was telling you I met Gayton through Mario Francis, and his best friend and was my friend at the time as well. So, they had influence with the investigating officer, Solly Masangani. And I've seen, so when they take me to court, I sit at the back and Solly in front. And I've seen messages between Solly and Pete. So I know for sure that they have been influencing my cases.
So do you believe Gayton is behind all of this?
100%.
And do you believe that Gayton is behind all of this because you blew the lid on what's really going on in the Patriotic Alliance and the fact that they owe you money?
Definitely. It's not just about the money. The money's part of it. One of the things also that I mentioned to myself, at the time in 2022, he made his girlfriend, his child's mother, he made her the MMC of housing. So he tried his best to silence me.
I want you to speak to me about your engagement with Kat Matlala. You were obviously next to him when you were in CMAX, and he also said some damning things to you, allegedly. Could you take me through that?
So, we worked very close in the beginning, right? And I explained to him that why I'm there because of Gayton McKenzie and all of that. And then he also confronted me that Gayton gets his stuff from Katie, and I explained to him that, look, I'm not going to let this go. And then he told me, well, if you continue on the road you're going, this thing's going to end in tears. And I said, in tears for who? He said, well, remember you've got family outside. And I said, okay, well, let's see how it ends. Let them do what they want to do.
So sorry, I want to get this straight. Kat Matlala warned you to stop speaking because it's not going to end well for your family.
Yes.
And stop speaking on what? On what you believe is Gayton's influence and dealings with drugs?
Yes, I shouldn't mention that, and yeah, for any tears.
Okay, what else did Matlala tell you? I mean, he mentioned Ramaphosa at some points.
Look, there's a lot of things he did tell me, but most of the things form part of a police investigation, right? And unfortunately, I can't divulge that.
Yeah.
Because it's very sensitive police information.
So we've been told through the ad hoc committee and the Madlanga Commission that there is this big five that's basically running the country, and not all the names have been divulged. Would you say, according to the evidence that you have and what's been going on over the last couple of years, even with your particular case, who would you say is involved in this big five cartel or proxies of this big five?
Look, I can tell you that Gayton is definitely a proxy of the big five, right? And I can't reveal all the names of the big five, although I am aware of who they are. As I said, it forms part of a police investigation, right? And then I can't just call out all their names, but yes, Gayton is a part of it.
Why do you believe that you were not asked to appear before the ad hoc committee? They said it was based on time constraints. Do you believe that that's true?
That is definitely not true. So obviously the information I have and the evidence I have is pretty damning evidence.
And you would gladly go to the Madlanga Commission?
Definitely.
Do you fear for your life or your family's life?
To be honest, I've suffered too much because of this guy.
And Jermaine, you are 100% certain that you've got evidence to prove that this man, being Gayton McKenzie, gave you 2 cell phones, you have WhatsApp messages, you have bank statements to prove, because, I mean, when I interviewed it... Yeah, carry on.
Yes, we do have backup with the messages, Facebook messages, WhatsApp messages, bank statements, emails, that kind of thing.
Have you been found guilty of anything to date? Because if I'm not mistaken, it's car theft and fraud.
Yes, I have been found guilty of fraud and the case is on appeal. I can actually go into it.
Okay, what do you want to come from this, Jermaine? Because look, I think I've asked you everything I need to in terms of what you've put in your affidavit. But what are you hoping comes out of this? I mean, you are in prison. You are awaiting trial. Yeah.
What I want from this is for people to know the truth, for people to know what has happened, right? And for people to know who Gayton McKenzie really is. It's misleading a lot of people. It's trying to push a colored narrative, just to mislead people. I mean, our children are dying. Our children are killing each other because of these drugs.
Are you worried that they move you back to CMAX?
Definitely that, he's definitely going to try that to try and silence me. But what can I do?
Do you believe your life is under threat in prison?
No, I'm where I am, I'm secure, I'm safe. And I'm in a very safe environment.
But just maybe in closing, you believe that there is influence, though, in terms of how you are treated and the delays in your case?
100%. There has been influence. And as I said, Gayton took to social media and made a live video. He's responsible for taking me to CMAX, where I actually spent 4 years. And a judge then had to say that, look, this is illegal. 7 court motions later.
Thanks, Jermaine. We appreciate you speaking to us.
Thank you, Heidi, and thank you to your viewers.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Obviously, Gayton McKenzie did deny that he knows Katiso Molefe of Sumuzi Ket Matlala.
I don't know Ket Matlala. I've never met Ket Matlala. I don't know Katie, I don't know what is his surname now. I don't know these people. I don't know these big 5 guys. I've never met them. I've never had. I mean, for me to say that a photo can appear tomorrow, then I'll be like a liar. So I'm telling you, I don't know these people.
We know that Darlene James also was asking regarding the relationship of Kenny Kunene as well as Katiso Molefe. Today, she's faced with real serious intimidation claims allegedly because of that particular question of Katiso Molefe.
Gayton McKenzie, he did a live Facebook Live where he made certain comments about you. Why did you feel the need to go to the police station with regards to this?
Because too often South Africans and many women across our country feel intimidated, and they try and unpack it themselves. But as women in this country, when we feel threatened, we need to start speaking up. And I think for me, it's not even about, winning or losing. It's just about taking a stance. No one has the right to say to me, in the early stages of that video, he actually refers to me as a slang. A slang, sonder gif, something to that effect. But I thought that was petty, and I'm going to let it go. And then later on, what really gripped me was when he said, that ek kom nie sideways nie en ek het security by die hek. What does that mean? What does that mean? He didn't finish his sentence. He later on releases a statement saying he meant that he has security at the gate. Hy kan nie pilletjies verkoop nie. So I'm not sure if he undermines our intelligence, but we all know whoever touches the drugs. I'm not saying that he's dealing in drugs, but the statement and what he latched on afterwards just didn't make sense to me. So, and it is with that I thought, what, I'm going to take a stance, and I laid criminal charges of intimidation, because that's how I felt, and no one can argue with how I felt.
Sure, certainly. I mean, everyone's feelings are valid. Do you believe that anything will be done about this, though? Because the Patriotic Alliance, Gayton McKenzie, has been put into the spotlight and serious allegations leveled against them. Do you think anything is going to be done about this?
I'm not sure, but we need to apply our minds. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not sure if you've heard the circulating voice note that's been going around, where the Ward 18 councillor says they've been funded by drug cartels, where she goes to say, and she alleges that she just dropped a PR councillor, they're pushing drugs in the community. No one has actually taken the time to investigate those allegations that she made. And for me, Heidi, it was the simple fact that I have been affected. I know what it feels like to live with someone that's on substance. So if you have an entire political party in my community and communities across South Africa, that's a big problem for me. Whether those PA voters remain loyal to the Patriotic Alliance, but many mothers like myself need to know the truth. We want to know if we've been further exposed to drugs through a political party.
Jermaine Prim is currently in CMAX. Gayton McKenzie is in the cabinet. One man has nothing, the other one has everything. But as the ad hoc committee report looms, the question isn't who has more power, it's who has the truth. If Prim is lying, why is the Patriotic treasurer on tape confirming his story? If McKenzie is a hero, why hasn't his first instinct to bury a whistleblower in a high security cell? The road is long, South Africa, and it is looking very green, but not the color of hope, the color of money. I don't know what you guys think about this exclusive of the ENCA. It has left me shocked, and it has left me to just want to know what will be the reply of Mr. Gayton McKenzie with regards to these very, very serious allegations against him as the minister. And he, Mr. Prim, said that he doesn't mind appearing at the Madlanga Commission. Hopefully, Gayton McKenzie will also not mind appearing at the Madlanga Commission. He said that he has a lot to say, and I think this is the time for him to say that lot, because these allegations are really, really serious. Nonetheless, guys, let me hear what you think. Let me hear your thoughts. I'll see you guys on my next upload. Bye.
The minister and them are blaming you. So let's get to the truth of it. It's just that people must understand it's frustrating when you want action right now and you want things to happen. But this thing is so delicate that I'm telling you, what is going to come out of that? South Africans must be ready. I'm also going to testify at the commission because I know things. If they call me, I'm going. About these guns in the Western Cape that kills our people. This one is not get your popcorn ready. Go and get the popcorn factory ready, because this thing, the corruption is going to come out of there. Had every gang boss of every cartel in the world, always when you hear they're being arrested in South Africa, they are here. What are these people doing here?